In 2003, director Rob Schmidt directed one of the best horror films of the year, Wrong Turn. The movie was a hit among horror fans, spawning 5 more movies between 2007 and 2014, and also a new film as well in 2021. Still, none of the follow-up films had the suspense or storyline of the first one, which really overachieved in a number of ways. Wrong Turn is an action-packed horror movie with excellent pacing, good acting, and a fun and interesting storyline. The movie centers around 6 individuals who are broke down in the backroads of West Virginia. After a traffic jam, 5 college kids and 1 medical student eventually make a wrong turn down Bear Mountain Road, hoping to cut back to the highway. Soon, though, the individuals begin getting attacked by a group of mutant mountain men. The movie's 2 stars are actress Eliza Dushku and actor Desmond Harrington as the 2 main characters, just trying to get out of the woods. While the plot seems pretty silly on the surface, it's actually not, and I believe this is because the movie stays pretty simple for the most part. There's 3 to 4 mountain men hunting the group, and their goal, and only goal, is to get back to civilization and avoid being slaughtered. They don't know why they're trying to kill them, and it really doesn't matter. We just know that the group has to get out of there and that these mountain men are coming for them. The cinematography in the film is good as well, providing a consistent number of really great shots. They don't over-focus on the grotesqueness of the mountain men, but provide just enough so the audience knows these mutant men are hideous, deformed, and violent men. Now, the movie has a number of good scenes, which I have to give the writers credit for here. One of the scenes I thought was really good was the scene when they were up in the trees. It was well done, and we got to experience the group hopping from tree to tree and trying to survive from these mountain men attacking them. This was really a unique scene and really not something you see in a lot of movies, especially horror movies, and it was shot well and acted well too. Now, if I had to critique the movie in one aspect, it would probably be the bad decisions the group makes. The first was when they arrived at the home of the mutant mountain men and simply decided to break in. This is just asking for trouble. Inside the house too, it takes way too long for them to discover something is horribly wrong. Right when they open the door, they should have known, hey, this is probably not a house that we want to be wandering around in. Now, another bad decision is when they were in the graveyard of the cars of the prior victims. For some reason, they make the decision to have one person essentially sacrifice themselves and just run away, being a distraction. This was just a terrible plan, and I'm not sure why they couldn't just go and hide. The mutant mountain men, they don't really have any way to track them, like tracking dogs. They're just riding around in their truck with bows and arrows. Of course, as a result of this, newly engaged Scott is killed. Now, one other bad decision was when they were in the tree stand. While I did like this set piece, Carly, for some reason, keeps lighting up glow sticks in the nighttime. This is a terrible decision, and it's pretty incredible the mountain men didn't just see the light as they were walking around the woods looking for them. Of course, the mountain men did find them once someone communicated through the radio that they had been using. Still, the scene I thought highlighted just how the mountain men, they weren't some skilled hunters, they weren't some skilled trackers, they were just kind of walking around just looking for them, and this really showed that they really had a good chance of escaping them if they had just made decent decisions. So, despite these, which seems somewhat of a requirement in a lot of horror movies, the movie is still very entertaining. It follows a simple enough storyline and is enjoyable, I thought. The characters are likable and have good chemistry, and the movie really preys on that fear of the unknown in the woods and what type of people could still be living out in the woods. Now, this, of course, is one thing Hollywood loves to do. that kind of drives me crazy. They love to portray small town America as being these one-tooth hillbillies that are all part of cults and are all these disgusting evil people. In reality, though, crime and violent crime especially, it's much more prevalent in large cities than these small towns where most people tend to be very friendly. One last thing to point out as well in this movie is that this was done in 2003, a time before smartphones, widespread GPS, and before everyone really had a cell phone even. I know some people did, but people were just making calls back then. Thus, getting lost out in the woods, it really makes one extremely vulnerable. I remember when my car broke down in the late 90s and early 2000s, the breakdowns I had, it was much tougher back then than it was today with no smartphone at your service, able to call anyone. If you didn't have AAA, it was kind of like you better know how to change a tire or know quite a bit about a car engine. All this said, this movie, it was a fun horror movie. It's aged well, and it's surely one checking out.